Person in Person is brought to you by the Perineum Group, the only truly centrist news organization.
That's right, Greg. We're in the sweet spot between partisan extremes. When tain't the left and tain't the right.
It's Perineum.
Tonight on Person in Person.
The persecution rests.
I've heard of a permanent, but this is ridiculous.
I am Florida Man.
I don't want to talk about it.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
My baloney has a first name, it's CONTR. My baloney has a second name, it's ABAND. All of these stories plus weather, sports, food crime, and a getting personal interview. That's tonight
on Person in Person.
Good evening, wherever you are, whoever you are, and welcome to Person in Person. I'm Gene Person.
And I'm Greg Person.
No relation. This is the second time we're recording this episode. We had some technical difficulties.
Well, you know, a podcast is like a soup. It's better the second day because the flavors have had time to marry.
Well, let's get to the recording. Well, last week, the biggest contest of 2021 happened again. 2 teams vying for the prize. From the kickoff, it just didn't feel like the exciting contest it was built up to be. Even the paid sponsors seemed to be disappointed with the results, and I am, of course, speaking of the second impeachment trial of Donald J. Trump.
And just like the other big game of this week, if you had any doubt about the outcome, you're an idiot.
Gina Carano has been fired from The Mandalorian after comparing the treatment of people with political views to the actual Holocaust. Republicans nationwide are threatening to boycott Disney Plus over the firing because, you know, Gina Carano is the victim of cancel culture.
Now, remind me, is she the little green guy?
No. Gina Carano is a former wrestler turned actress.
Okay. But not the little green guy, though.
No. She does not play the little green guy.
Plays a different character. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm fine, because that's the only one I know and the only one I care about. Now, is the little green guy the Mandalorian?
Oh, I just want to slap you. The Biden administration has announced it may be necessary to wear masks until at least 2022 in response to the COVID pandemic and the new strains that have cropped up. I'm all for that. In fact, if it keeps strangers from talking to me and making small talk and stuff, let's extend that to 3022 and beyond.
Oh, bro, believe, I'm never going anywhere in public without a mask again. And if I don't want to have a conversation, I'll just be like, oh, nope, sorry, can't hear you, I got my mask on. And by the time they figured it out, I'll be gone.
Right. But enough about the news, it's main news!
All right, so our top story this week is a deep dive into a character who was in meme land here the last week. You might have heard the story of the Texas attorney who turned on the kitty cat filter in a Zoom hearing, and he spent about a minute being adorable. But I wanted to talk more about the attorney, Rod Ponton, because he's actually had a pretty odd and interesting career. First big highlight, he defended the confessed and probably wrongly convicted mega serial killer Henry Lee Lucas in the 80s, and he had a giant portrait of Lucas commissioned as a memento, commenting, "Why not?" Which is fair.
Okay, so a couple things. Number one, I don't know why anyone would want a picture of that droopy-eyed fucker. Because, and I'm not meaning to insult the way he appears. I feel like he's fair game for pretty much any attack because he's a disgusting, despicable human being.
Well, I mean, even on the 3 murders that he probably did out of the 600 that he was charged with, there's still some questions about those murders. I'm not going to, go full on and say that Henry Lee Lucas is innocent of all charges. But, I mean, if you're innocent until proven guilty, he's, of the 600 crimes that he was charged with, he probably didn't do 597 of them. So he's probably like 99.97% innocent.
You're so full of shit. Okay, Okay, number one, this guy, yeah, he killed 3 people. That's what they were able to connect to him. He confessed to hundreds of killings that he was probably just taking credit for because he liked to be the boogeyman a little bit. But he and Otis Toole, they made like a regular habit out of not just murder, but like serial assaulting of women. Like and men. They raped and killed so many people.
Fair enough. I think it's fair to say that at this point, Henry Lee Lucas is canceled.
Well, yeah, I mean, for some time.
From the
Michael Rooker performance as Henry Lee Lucas was pretty good, though.
Ooh, I haven't seen that movie. It's on my recommends, but I just haven't gotten around to watching it because I didn't know if it was going to be good or bad.
I mean, it's hard. I don't know that I would call it great, but it's definitely... it doesn't glorify serial killing like a lot of movies do. It does imbue Henry Lee Lucas with some heroic qualities that he does not deserve.
Well, did you ever see the John Wayne Gacy one with Francis Buxton from Pee-wee's Playhouse?
I did.
That was great.
All the little rubber bugs. Yeah. I can't remember if they were rubber or if they were actual bugs, but they were just a wide variety of bugs that they decided to go with there, when really there's only a handful of bugs you need to worry about in decomposing bodies.
This is true. I do want to mention, though, on the subject of some not so nice elements of Rod Ponton's career, in 2014, when he was a county prosecutor, he used the power of his office to harass a woman that he'd been stalking for many, many years, ever since college. And he forced her to plead guilty to trumped up charges to keep her mom out of jail. So he's not as cute as his kitty visage would have you believe.
Yeah.
But I think what...
Sounds like a certain little kitty needs a visit to Dr. Snip Snip.
That makes me laugh. I like the idea of him being taken to a vet and still trying to be like, I'm not a cat, I'm a human, but nobody can, because he's still got the filter on, so nobody's going to listen to
him. I'm a lawyer, not a cat.
Well, what we've learned is that people like cats better than lawyers, because nobody looked twice at this guy until he was a cat. So I think if we really want to clean up the legal profession, let's just replace all the lawyers with cats. I mean, if animals can stand trial in human courts, which historically they can, they ought to be able to represent us as well. Represent us?
Yeah, no, I heard it. I'd say put them on the jury too, but one laser pointer and you got yourself a hung jury.
Yeah, but juries aren't super great at paying attention anyway. I think it's probably a wash on that score. I mean, is the dumbest person better than the cutest cat? I don't know.
Meow, meow, justice, meow.
All right, what's our next story?
Okay, our second story. Tessica Brown, a 40-year-old woman, went viral after a TikTok video in which she discussed the fact that she'd run out of Got2b hairspray. Instead, she used Gorilla Glue to freeze her hair in place. Unfortunately, at the time of the video, her hair had been unable to be moved for about a month. Ultimately, she wound up having to have the problem surgically fixed with a special chemical treatment, a treatment that normally costs over $12,000. Tessica was able to get the surgery for free. So she's honestly not entirely to blame in this situation. Punks have been using glue, maybe not super glue, to do their hair for years. Back in the day when I had a mohawk, I used to use good old Elmer's glue.
Hell yeah, dude, that Elmer's glue could keep a mohawk going for days.
I kept that hairstyle for about 9 days. And I've seen reports of hairstylists admitting to using small amounts of super glue, so maybe she just overdid it. The surgery apparently was effective, so Tessica's hair is finally free of the glue. I can't even imagine what it must have felt like to have your glue fixed in place like that and your scalp sort of frozen. It's really funny. It's really, really funny, and I hate to laugh at the misfortune of others, but over a month of that seems like kind of a lot.
I think well before a month I'd be like, well, I'm going to find out how to take care of this. I can't live the rest of my life this way.
Gorilla Glue is serious stuff. It's like the gluiest glue. The bond forged by Gorilla Glue is so strong it could stick the Beatles back together, and 2 of them are dead. Because topical jokes are what I do. Boom!
Excellent. I'll say about Gorilla Glue, it's strong enough to stick gorillas together, and they're strong as hell. So,
right.
I mean, it'll handle whatever your jobs are.
And the company has publicly stated that, of course, Gorilla Glue is not intended to be used on human hair. Its industrial strength adhesive is, in fact, not meant to be used by humans at all. It's for gorillas.
Right.
It's on the label.
It's literally like, go to the store and get human glue if you want to use it for human projects.
Or Elmer's glue if you want to glue yourself to some guy named Elmer.
Well, Elmer's a pretty regular guy, so I think Elmer's glue is good for most humans.
Well, and that's why I used it in my hair.
Yeah. Plus you can eat it, which you can't do with Gorilla Glue.
True.
Now, here's another story that rules. A Florida man turned the skeleton of his dead uncle, who was a fellow metalhead, into a sick guitar. The man goes by the name Midnight Prince, which, judging by his photos, no shade, just facts, he was not pulling that name off before he built the Skeletar, but now he has one, so yeah, I'll give that one to you.
I think it's just a matter of time before he becomes the artist formerly known as Midnight Prince.
He's just going to get in his little red Corvette and drive down to the county office and change his name. I don't know.
Was his uncle named Doug? Because this is what it sounds like when Dougs cry.
Actually, his uncle's name was Phil. Fun fact from the article.
Well, this is what it sounds like when Phils cry.
Well, Phil is going to be crying from joy in heaven because he's a sick-ass guitar now. As far as anyone can tell, this is the first time anyone's made one, which seems insane to me. It seems like somebody would have done it before now.
Yeah, you would think that someone from Slayer or Iron Maiden it just seems crazy that this hasn't happened yet.
Like, where are Lemmy's bones right now?
Probably in some biohazard bag, but...
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Lemmy was too metal to be interred in regular earth with mere mortals for sure. Yeah. But now that there is a detailed record of this project, I predict that there's going to be more bone guitars, or skeletars, as I have decided they're called.
Oh, this guy did a build diary?
He did. It's a whole thing, and he goes into detail about how don't do it this way, do it this way. He figured it out as he went. But I don't think I'd like to be a guitar though, because I don't have any deep connection to guitars. I mean, I enjoy music, but I never was any good at playing it. I think I'd like to be one of those books bound in human skin, but I do want to get a few more tattoos first, just to make sure that it's covered in beautiful art.
Klaatu Barada.
See, this time, because we're on take 2, I remember that that's an Army of Darkness reference, and I appreciate it.
In Akron, Ohio, a 36-year-old man was arrested after attempting to rob a Taco Bell. This happened around 9:20 p.m. Friday night. Officers responded to a complaint regarding parking. While on the scene waiting for vehicles to be moved, an employee informed the cops there had just been a robbery attempt. The man walked to the front counter, demanded exactly 3 tacos. He informed employees he had a gun and would shoot them. The man apparently left without any tacos. Police searched the area and found him hiding in the back of the restaurant. No gun was ever found. Okay, so I get as hungry as anyone, and I love tacos. But here's the thing. Tacos aren't expensive. 3 tacos is like, what, $5? And I know it's possible he might not have had $5 on him, but just ask someone in the parking lot. I just don't feel like 3 tacos is worth going to prison for.
On the other hand, I will say that if you are trying to do a fake armed robbery of a Taco Bell for only 3 tacos, then that suggests to me 2 things. 1, you definitely don't have any money at all. 2, you desperately need some tacos. And 3, you are going to get fed in jail, so it's not a total loss. So I think he actually comes out ahead on this one.
Well, maybe he does. I guess it could be worse. He could have pretended to be an FBI agent, which is still one of my favorite stories that we've covered.
Yeah, that's one of our all-time classics. And, maybe next time.
I feel like this guy brought no gun to an FBI fight.
I mean, he could be under deep cover and he just needs tacos. I don't know.
Well, shit, I need tacos now. Like, I am so hungry for tacos right now.
Why are we still talking about tacos? I have no way of getting tacos right now, but I need them.
Listeners, listen, we love you. We appreciate you coming week after week. We need some tacos.
Please email us a taco.
Okay.
I'm not going to give these freaks my actual physical address, but I do need that taco. So if you could email it to personinpersonshow@gmail.com, that'd be great.
On to our next story.
Scientists have discovered that pigs can comprehend and play a video game that was originally designed for apes and monkeys. They're not as good as the monkeys, but that's only due to poor eyesight and lack of thumbs. They played more avidly and scored better when motivated by either treats or praise, and remembered how to play when tested a year later.
Wow. Are they playing with... what are they playing with?
Well, they have...
their hooves?
No, they use their snouts to manipulate a joystick. They push the joystick with their snout, which is kind of similar to their natural rooting behavior. And they're apparently quite good. The best of them can play even the hardest levels and win 76% of the time.
Yeah, but I bet they're always hogging the controller.
That's very good. I appreciate that one. Gold star.
And here's another thing. If they're playing Angry Birds, they're monsters.
I mean, you wouldn't do that. It's like you wouldn't play Left 4 Dead if you were a zombie.
You wouldn't play Call of Duty if you were a human being.
Exactly. That was going to be my next point. It's like, yeah, that would be really sick to be like, for example, a human pretending to kill humans. That's psychotic, man. But, I will say that a pig that could play video games would be high in the running for my new best friend.
Yeah, I mean, it describes several of my friends over the years.
That's true. I was actually going to try and work in a joke about, like, Xbox Live and pigs, and I was like, that's low-hanging fruit.
Right. A little too on the nose.
Oh, man. You're on fire right now.
What can I say?
You are really bringing up the truffles right now. I will say, though, that I thought about it, and the fact that dogs show no interest in video games probably is a strong indicator of their superior intelligence.
Yeah, maybe video games are a huge waste of time that I waste time with pretty consistently.
Yeah, me too. We were just talking about this the other night, how ridiculously excited I am for the remaster of Mass Effect, which is probably my favorite series.
Yeah, and I've been spending a lot of time playing World of Warcraft, although I will be starting to work on Park and Park, the official person-in-person theme park, pretty soon. Oh,
folks, you guys are going to be so excited. There's a whole new park-making adventure that awaits you if you go to our blog, personinpersonshow.com. As I was reading about these gamer pigs, though, I learned about how naturally they form bonds of affection with their human caretakers, which is both wonderful and horribly sad. Because these pigs just want to be friends, and most of the time we are doing unspeakable crimes to them.
Yeah.
Which is, I say this all the time. Basically, every time I find a story about how smart an animal is, I say it, but I don't think I can eat animals anymore. I'm pretty sure that history and God are going to judge us harshly for it. And I can maybe block out the fact that I'm eating a sentient animal. I can't ignore the fact that I'm eating a fellow gamer.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting the disconnect that we put in place, the compartmentalization that we employ. I mean, we are omnivores. We are just as designed for eating meat as we are vegetables, but that doesn't mean we can't feel just awful about it. And it doesn't mean we can't do something about it, because we can survive on plant-based foods.
Right. And, evolution is not a good enough reason. I mean, you're evolved to marry a 14-year-old too. That don't make it right.
Right. Our next story is border agents in New Mexico have stopped a vehicle carrying 194 pounds of contraband from Mexico, hidden in the driver's luggage and in the trunk. 22 large red packaged rolls of bologna. It's prohibited because it's made from pork and has the potential to introduce foreign animal diseases to the U.S. pork industry. The 49-year-old driver was fined $500 and his meat was destroyed. So, just so you know, when they're not ripping kids away from their families, Border Patrol agents do some actual good, protecting the U.S. pork industry. We've got to get those greenhouse gases out there somehow, and it's going to be hard to do when all the pigs are dead. But who are the real pigs in this scenario?
Food for thought.
That's very good. I'm confused about why anyone would smuggle in bologna, or at least I was until I started looking at it. We have bologna here, and it's actually kind of a cheap meat, but it's, I guess, made from chicken parts, and this is actually made from pigs. I don't know if this is supposed to be extra good bologna. I looked into it, and apparently Mexican bologna, Chimex, can fetch as much as $30 to $40 a roll on the black market.
If I had some now, I couldn't even be doing this podcast because I'd be like,
It is truly fascinating to me that there is a black market for bologna. I had originally written that I was going to make a joke here about how now I wanted bologna, but the truth is I hate bologna. I hate hot dogs and bologna. I got sick eating them when I was really young, and I have never liked the taste.
I mean, I can see that because there's not much taste to them, really. You're not missing any fantastic culinary experience if you're not eating them.
All right, we have made it through main news. We have survived the gauntlet that was recording main news, Greg.
It took almost 2 hours to get here,
yeah.
But we did it.
Greetings, gentle listeners. If you enjoy this podcast, you may also like Brose, a mirthy talk show starring 4 bros who sip wine and consider questions submitted by you, the audience, about current events, pop culture, and which Muppet you should get tattooed on your back. Subscribe to Brose wherever you get your podcasts. That's BROSE. Brose, the podcast for those who drink rosé.
On to the emotional weather. Yeah, so the emotional weather this week is Caustic, Prognostic, and Barry Bostwick. My story for Caustic: we're enduring a second epidemic in this country, with all the attention to the cleanliness of our hands, which is somewhat misguided given the new information on the coronavirus, but whatever. We're using hand sanitizer on children without making sure the sanitizer is dry, and those kids are wiping their eyes with those hands. We've had a rash of chemical burns to kids because of this, and this can have serious consequences. Hand sanitizer can kill cells in the cornea and can cause permanent damage. So if you're going to use it on your kids, please be exceptionally careful. Or better yet, just use soap and water, which are far more effective at cleaning your hands.
You know, I have rubbed hand sanitizer into my eyes before, and it is not great.
I pretty much only use hand sanitizer every once in a while to see if I have any cuts I don't know about.
Yes, ooh, and it will find every single one.
Yep.
Literally, stuff that you can't even see. It's like micron thick dermabrasions will light up like a Christmas tree.
Bing, 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 bing.
God, I'm cringing just thinking about it. Well, I also have a pretty caustic story. A water treatment plant near Tampa was hacked this week, and the hackers briefly raised the level of sodium hydroxide levels 100-fold, which makes the water so alkaline that it's unsafe to touch, let alone drink. Fortunately, there was a technician sitting right there who noticed the change right away, and automated systems would have stopped it anyway before it got into the water supply. But the identity and motivation of the hacker or hackers is still unknown, so we can only hope they let sleeping dogs lie.
That's
get
pretty
it?
funny. No, I get it.
Yeah. I was very proud of myself when I thought of that one.
It's a good one. Prognostic big data firm Epsilon has been criminally charged and has agreed to pay $150 million for helping to facilitate elder fraud schemes, including phony sweepstakes and psychic services, selling data of over 30 million consumers to fraudsters from 2008 to 2017. So corporate America is now in the psychic scam game.
Well, my only problem with this story is I'm concerned that there are going to be people now who won't have access to quality therapy.
Well, I see. I threw this story in because I was very interested in hearing your take, because on the one hand, it's a big psychic scam, and I know how fond you are of defending those. On the other hand, it's a big corporation, and I know how much you hate those.
I am between a rock and a hard place. But, you know, the most surprising thing about this bust is that they never saw it coming.
Very good.
Okay, so for my prognostic weather, I want to tell you all that there is almost nothing I enjoy in the world more than what is called either paleofuturism or retrofuturism, depending on the term you like. What that is it's the examination of past visions of the future, which to us is the present or sometimes the past. Like when you read a story from 1890 about what they think 1990 is going to be like, and you clown on them for their goofy wrong predictions. But the thing is, nobody is ever entirely right about this stuff because they can only extrapolate from the world that they know, which doesn't help when truly disruptive elements come on the scene. For example, I found a prediction from the year 1921 about what the year 2021 would be like, and they predicted that Mexico would be an economic and cultural powerhouse greater than any country in Europe. Which, I mean, it certainly could have been. You know, they have all the resources. They just didn't take...
If it weren't for Border Patrol not letting that baloney through...
I mean, yeah, they didn't take into account colonialism, basically.
Right.
And even RoboCop, which is the most accurate vision of the future ever portrayed, still has people smoking in each other's offices, which to our modern eyes would be absolutely insane. Not even Clarence Boddicker is enough of a psychopath to light a cigarette in someone else's office.
Right.
Can you imagine how much of a maniac you would have to be?
Yeah.
Like,
I can't believe this stuff happened all the time in the past. Like, you just go into someone else's office and light up. That is nuts.
Right. Like, you would be committing less of a social faux pas if you literally took a shit on someone's desk. Because there's not a sign saying don't do that.
Right. Barry Bostwick. Brad Majors from the Rocky Horror Picture Show is supposed to be kind of a stick in the mud. Brad is a kind of everyman, and he and Janet Weiss represent the repressive Puritan culture that keeps us shackled away from our kinks. Bostwick has publicly stated that he immediately saw the value of Rocky Horror Picture Show, a movie that initially bombed, but gained an incredible and active cult following. He played the hell out of the role, and I just think he's a wonderful actor who I'd like to celebrate tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, as I was rewatching Cougar Town in the past couple weeks, as you know, one of the best and possibly most underrated sitcom of all time, I particularly enjoyed Barry Bostwick's performance as Roger Frank, who plays a rich guy who treats everybody with contempt, but still enjoys their company. So it's an odd vibe, and if it doesn't make sense to you, watch Cougar Town, which you should have done anyway, you Philistines.
As you know, every week our investigative team presents a detailed and harrowing story on food crime. This week, Greg Person has the story.
Folks, Marks & Spencer, which I hasten to remind you, is a luxury brand in the United Kingdom. It's one of the few luxury brands that has kept its high-class cachet. They're back on their bullshit. They have brought back the Love Sausage, their Valentine's Day special, now available in regular and spicy chorizo. Not only that, but they've also brought back the hated Yum Nut. And if you look on their website at their Valentine's Day Yum Nut, which they're calling the Love Nut, the tagline is, Take a bite of this love nut.
Oh my god.
Now, the British have this reputation for cheeky, naughty humor. I hate it. I hate it so much. It is middle school. And if you are the classiest store in what used to be regarded as the classiest country, I don't think they have that title anymore. Thank God. This is apparently the greatest height of sophistication of which the British are capable. So, if you're still one of these people who think that British culture is somehow classier than American culture, you can relax.
Yeah, we have a thing or two to say about sophomore humor here on this podcast.
Believe me, we know what we're talking about here. And, as far as this whole fiasco goes, as our own most sophisticated citizen would say, sad.
Folks, it's sports.
Oh man, this is one I'm really excited about, y'all, because for whatever reason, for a very, very long time now, I have been fascinated by traditional Mongolian culture. And so Bokh, the traditional Mongolian wrestling sport, which is considered the highest of the three manly skills, ahead of even horsemanship and archery, that, this is a top tier sport for me, and I'm very excited to talk about it. But the rules are pretty simple. There are slight variations across different regions, but basically, you and another guy are grappling, and if anything other than a foot touches the ground, you lose. So the strategy is, you both remain standing, and you're trying to trip or flip your opponent before they can get you. Now, what's really fun about Bokh is that there are no age brackets or weight classes, so it's totally reasonable in tournaments to see a toddler wrestling a grown man who's roughly 40 times his size.
Wow. That seems really irresponsible.
But the reason that, they're not going to powerbomb the kid or anything. The rationale behind it, though, and I think they've kind of got a point, is that in battle, you never know who you're going to be facing. So you have to be prepared to meet them no matter the disparity. And
that's kind of awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they're quite proud to defend this practice because they're like, listen, I'm going to face off against people who are bigger than me, who are stronger than me, who are better than me. And I have to go for it.
Right.
So, I
want to see what these folks can do in the Matrix.
I mean, I think we all wish we lived in the Matrix. Because
it's possible that we do.
See, I don't think so, because I feel like if machines were trying to give us a reality that we accept, I stopped accepting this reality a long time ago.
That's a fair point. It's a fair point. As bad as life can be, there's no accounting for what happened in 2020. And spilling into 2021. Things are pretty legit terrible.
Yeah, if there was some intelligence at all that was orchestrating all of this, it wouldn't be like this. So I think we have all...
And we certainly wouldn't have tonight's offering for the Podcast Shopping Network.
Ooh, tell me all about it, stud.
I want to talk about sauna pants. Do you ever want the benefits of a sauna? Particularly in areas like the stomach, waist, butt, and hips, but don't want to go to an actual sauna? Fear not, citizen. Sauna pants are for you. These look like swim trunks in bright orange with a cord and a dial. They claim it aids in shedding water weight. The pants are adjustable to fit waist 28 to 52 inches and thighs 12 to 26 inches. It includes a 4-foot cord. You clean it with just a damp cloth. And they're recommended for use up to 50 minutes a day to lose weight, ease tight muscles and sore joints, and thoroughly transform your crotch into a foreboding bayou with an impressive biodiverse culture all its own. Sauna pants retail for $39.95.
I know you've only done 2 of these, but this is the worst one yet.
There are nightmare products out there. This is just the beginning.
I'm calling it now. I honestly don't think you'll ever be able to top this. This is the worst fucking thing I've ever heard of. Jesus. This is like if you if you put this on someone in Guantanamo Bay, even George W. Bush would be like, oh, now come on.
Right. It's awful. And these things are absolutely 100% real.
Listen, I got to tell you, not to tell on myself too much, but when you reach a certain age, all of your pants are sauna pants. And
right.
It's terrible. I would not wish this on a dog that I hated. And
so why would you do it to yourself? It just seems so weird to me that you would heat your own crotch. I don't know. That is already a really swampy, nasty area. Why it boggles the mind.
Fuck, that's so bad. So bad. Like, was it originally developed by DARPA? Is it a weapon?
I'm loving your reaction to it.
I hate it so much.
On to our Getting Personal interview. This week we're turning the tables. I will be interviewing our own Greg Person. So Greg, what is your favorite word?
What is my favorite word? Slender.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. What is your least favorite word? Sauna pants?
Yeah. Now that I know that that's a term and what it refers to, it is actually my least favorite word. If anyone says the word sauna pants to me, I will projectile vomit on you.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Acts of heroism.
Yeah.
Where, people jumping into a burning building. There's a story about a whale whose pod was being hunted by whalers, and the whale doubled back to attack the boat to give his pod time to get away, and I literally cannot even think about the story without starting to cry. Whales are heroes.
It's a nice story. Yeah.
Yeah.
What turns you off?
The concept of fake news, the idea that we have in this culture now where if a piece of information makes you feel bad, you just decide that it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
It annoys the living shit out of me, and it's gonna be the ruin of our whole civilization.
What is your favorite curse word?
I mean, it's fuck. Of course it's fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck is the scaffold on which my entire vocabulary is built.
What sound or noise do you love?
There's so many sounds and noises that I love. I love just listening to stuff sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say right now, because I'm looking at a bag, the perfect crunch of a Juanita's tortilla chip.
Oh, so good. So
Yes.
good.
Juanita's. See, real heads know Juanita's is the best.
I love to just grab a whole bunch of those, put them on a plate, cover them in shredded cheese, and just go to town.
Absolutely. It's the most basic nacho, and it's unbeatable.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Also, a lot of noises I hate, though. Not to be that guy, but crying babies. It's not because I hate the babies. I don't.
Sure.
But the sound of a baby crying immediately causes my cortisol levels to spike. I can feel my blood pressure going up when a baby starts crying.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm a parent, and if I hear a baby crying, it stresses me right the hell out right away.
Yeah, it's
I
not
get
good. It's not good. They need to shut up.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
It's owing to a variety of circumstances, obstacles in my life. I didn't get to continue in academia like I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I would really love to be a professor of linguistics, which is a thing that I had my heart set on for a while. And I also would have really enjoyed being a chaplain, but I couldn't afford to go to grad school for either one of those things. So here we are.
What profession would you not like to do?
Oh, there are so many. I mean, I really hate work. Being an HR person
Oh, yeah.
would
Yeah.
probably be pretty goddamn bad.
I hear
mean-
you. That is a really great choice.
Because it seems like the purpose of HR is to just keep a company from getting sued for doing things that they ought not to do anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that is specifically what HR is there to do. So, yeah.
I was just going to say, I don't think I would enjoy being in HR very much, and I don't think they would enjoy having me.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well, that was weird, huh?
Greg, it's been a delight having you inside the podcaster's studio. Thanks so much for your keen insight into Greg Person.
You're very welcome. I hope to come back again someday.
Our final segment tonight, as every week, is Person to Person and Person, where we share your valuable feedback with our audience. We did receive an email this week indicating that hot and horny singles are in our area now, but we haven't had a lot of listener interaction at this point. I'll tell you what, if one person that I don't know emails me, I am going to compose a haiku about the subject of your choice. In fact, you know what? A haiku and a limerick. One person, one listener who I do not know in real life. Come on out, noble listeners, and claim your crappy prize.
Claude, we know you're out there, buddy. If you will send us an email, I will compose you a villanelle in French, my dude. Good ass French.
Folks, that's all the show we have for you tonight. We invite you to participate in Person to Person and Person. And there are so many ways for you to get yourself heard. But tonight, I'm going to focus exclusively on the email. Send us an email, personandpersonshow@gmail.com.
You could be mean too. You could flame us. We don't care.
Just send us something.
Anything. We're so lonely. We are so lonely.
Until next time, this is Gene Person saying you should always end a comedy set with a callback.
And this is Greg Person saying, take a bite of this yum nut. Good night.
Thanks again to Gorilla Glue for holding this concert. This next one is called While My Uncle Jimmy Gently Weeps.